This is going to be a Google Calendar tutorial. I'm going to show you how to view the room calendars, check for availability in those room calendars, create an event, add some options to those events, and then also once you've added an event and invited guests, what to do if you need to change the details of that event. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that you have all of the room calendars. So you can see here on the left-hand side, I've already added all the room calendars. If you don't have those, you can go down to the plus beside other calendars, click it, go to browse resources, and then you want to go under district office, or if you're at one of our other locations, you can select that location, and you want to check all the boxes next to the room calendars that you don't already have. If you already have them, then they should already be checked. If there are none checked, just go ahead and check them all. And then once you check the ones you want, you can click the arrow at the top left to go back into your calendar, and then you should see those room calendars on the left-hand side. These don't have to be enabled all the time, but you can enable these in order to see what is scheduled in that room. So each room has its own calendar, but I would advise leaving them unchecked because you don't want every room taking up your calendar space all the time. So if I'm looking for availability of, let's say, conference room 2, Shark Tank number 2, I would just enable that calendar, and then it would show me the events that are taking up that calendar, the events that are scheduled in that room. And I can see which days are open in that room. So I'm going to uncheck that. The other way that you would schedule an event is that you would go ahead and click the Create button. So if you want to schedule a room, you can click the Create button, go to More Options, and then you can go to the Rooms tab, and you can actually type in or select the room that you want. So here I can see Conference Room 2. I can select that room this way, and you can see it pops up down here under my guest list. I can also click Guests and start adding people to my guest list. So I have Andrea Brown added to my guest list on this event, and I have District Office Conference Room 2, Shark Tank 2, added as my location. The location will appear as a guest. I'm going to put a title for this one. Just going to call it Meeting. I've got my date. If it's an all-day event and you don't want a specific time, you can check the box next to all day. Otherwise, go ahead and make sure you have a date, a starting time, and an ending time. You can add in a location if it's not obvious from your room over here. You can add conferencing. Now, this is something that you can do if you want to make it a hangout. So that'll basically add video conferencing. So if someone wants to join in your meeting offsite, they can click the link in the event here, and they can join in via Google Hangouts, which is similar to Skype. You can also set your notifications. If you want notifications such as a pop-up or an email, you can set an email notification. So let's say I want an email the day before, then I'll set this to days, set it to 1. So now I'll get an email notification 1 day before this event to remind me. These are the different calendars that I have. You probably want to set this just as your default calendar because that's your personal calendar. And everybody who has who's on your guest list will get that added to their calendar as well. So there's no need to add the this event to the room calendar because it's already going to be on there if your room has been selected. And then down here you can select, you can choose to add an attachment. So if you have a handout, a document of some kind you would like to attach, you can do that here. So you just click the little paper clip and you can add a document, and everyone will have access to that who is on your guest list. You can also just add any particular details you want in the for that particular event. So once you've done that, you're going to click Save. It's going to say, would you like to send this invitation to your guest? You probably want to go ahead and do that. Otherwise, they won't know that you're scheduling them for a meeting. So I'm going to send. And so now I have that meeting scheduled right up here on January the 1st, 2021. So let's say that something has changed with this meeting. Either I want to add some people, or let's say I want to change this to Monday, January 4th. So I'm going to click into the event. I'm going to click on the pencil up here, and I'm going to change the time. So I'm just going to go up here to the date, change the date and time. Let's say I also want to make this at 3, not 3:15. So now I've changed it from the 1st to the 4th. I changed the time to 3 p.m. So I don't have to email my guest to let them know, because you'll notice when I click Save, it's going to say, would you like to update your guests. So I'm going to say yes, send, and that sends an email to everyone on the guest list letting them know that there's been changes made, so I don't have to send them a separate email. But let's say that I have something I do want to send to the guests, and I do want to email them. Instead of typing an email and then putting in all the guest names manually, I can open this event again. Again, I'm going to go to the pencil, and I can actually email all of the guests that are scheduled in this meeting. You're going to do that by clicking this little envelope right here next to the guest list. So if I click that, it automatically gives me an email window with those guests added to it. And I can type my message and click send, and it will send just those people an email. That's going to do it for this tutorial. Hope it was helpful.